Friends, now let us focus on your safeguard measures in terms of section 8B of your Customs Tariff Act. We are talking about safeguard measures which include safeguard duty in terms of section 8B of your Customs Tariff Act. And friends, this safeguard measures, this particular special import duty is WTO compatible, which means that it is within the principles framed by World Trade Organization for Customs Duty. When I tell it is WTO compatible, it means that this duty will be there, this measure will be there even if the goods are imported from member nations of World Trade Organization. So even when you import the goods from most favored nation, friendly nation, even then this safeguard measure will be applicable because it is WTO compatible. It is within the principles framed by your World Trade Organization for your customs duties. And friends, when you talk about your safeguard measure, again, as the name suggests, what is the objective of safeguard measure? Again, here also the objective is to protect the interests of the domestic industry, which is very similar to that of protective industry if you see the objective, but things are very different between both. Right, so here again you will find the objective is to protect the interests of the domestic industry, to make the Indian industry more competitive, right. So here you will find the same thing when you talk about protective duty, safeguard duty. You may find that okay, more or less you are talking about the same word, protection, that it is protective duty. Here it is safeguard measure, and safeguard measure includes safeguard duty. Here we are talking about safeguard measures. One of the safeguard measure is safeguard duty. Now understand that when you talk about this safeguard measure, though the objective is to give the shield or protection to the domestic industry, it is to ensure that the Indian or domestic industry becomes more competitive. Now there should be situations. For protective duty, there are no such conditions or situations. It is just that the Tariff Commission feels that we have to give protection. So it is a very general protection when you talk about your protection duty or protective duty in terms of section 6 and section 7 of your Customs Tariff Act. But when you talk about safeguard measures, friends, it is very specific. It is talking about a particular scenario which is happening, and that being the case, you have your safeguard measure. Now if you see when you talk about your safeguard measure, domestic industry should make a written application to the designated authority, and that designated authority will forward it to the central government. So that designated authority is nothing but Director General of Safeguard. See that domestic industry does not comes into picture. It is directly Tariff Commission to central government. Here domestic industry will make a written application to a particular authority, designated authority, which is nothing but Director General of Safeguard. This Director General of Safeguard will do necessary investigation, and then it will recommend the central government. So DG Safeguard will do certain investigation, and after that it will give recommendation to the central government, and after that central government will have impose safeguard measure by notification in official gazette. So the process here, it's a bit different, right? I'll again repeat, protective duty in terms of section 6 read along with section 7 is very general in nature, just to protect the domestic industry, just the protection, very generalized protection. Here it is very specific safeguard. What is that specific safeguard? Let us try to understand that. Domestic industry should give evidence that article which is being imported is in increased quantity, huge quantity. So domestic industry first should give evidence that on that article on which they want safeguard measure, it is imported in huge quantity or increased quantity, and it is causing serious injury. Either it is actually serious injury has been already caused, or threatening to cause serious injury to the domestic industry. Either that injury is already caused, serious injury is already there, or it is threatening to cause serious injury in very near future, very near future. And there is a causal link between both the increased quantity of imported articles as well as serious injury to the domestic industry or threatening to cause serious injury to the domestic industry. So there is a causal link between both, there is a connection between both, which means they are trying to tell that because of increased quantity of imported goods, there is serious injury to the domestic industry, or it is threatening to cause serious injury to the domestic industry. So that is the last point. Last point is telling that both are interlinked. Only and only because of your increased quantity of imported goods, or one of the reason which is increased quantity of imported goods, Either there is actual serious injury which has already happened, or it is threatening to cause a serious injury to the domestic industry, right? Now that is exactly what is given above, right? And friends, you have to understand that whenever you talk about your safeguard duty, it is product specific, so it is only applicable on the items on which it is imposed, right? Very similar to protective duty, it is only on that particular item on which it is imposed. So there are thousands of items, your safeguard measure will be say on 1 or 2 items. So it is product specific, whether that product is imported from any of the countries. So if it is on say a product X, that product X, whether imported from USA or whether imported from China or whether imported from Russia, it will be there. It is very similar to that of safeguard, that of protective duty. Even protective duty is in the same way, it is product specific. It is product specific, right? Because when you talk about the reasons, you will find that increased quantities are being imported of a particular article, product. So when you talk about the reasons that we have discussed, there is increased quantities of import of a particular item, say item X, and that is causing serious damage or threatening to cause serious damage to the domestic industry of item X, and there is a causal link between both, right? Now let us see what is given here. So when you talk about the levy of safeguard measure, process of levy we have already discussed. Levy, the same thing, the same reasoning it is given. So if central government, after conducting such inquiry, who will do the inquiry? Domestic industry will make a written application to Director General Safeguard, and Director General Safeguard will do such investigation and report, submit its recommendation to central government. Thereafter central government will impose safeguard measures. So central government, after conducting such inquiry, means this inquiry will be done by Director General Safeguards. If it is satisfied that any article, again we have discussed that your safeguard measure is product specific, article specific, it is on a particular item. So if thousands and thousands of goods are being imported, it is not on all the goods, it is on those goods only on which it is imposed. So out of thousands and thousands of goods that are imported, if it is levied on only say 3 items, so it will be only on 3 items, right? Where what is happening, friends? There is increased quantity of import of that particular article, increased quantities, right? The article is imported in increased quantities, which is resulting into either causing serious injury or threatening to cause serious injury, either actually causing serious injury or threatening to cause serious injury to the domestic industry. Then what central government will do? Central government then will by notification have safeguard measure on that particular article, on that particular notified article. So it is article specific. So out of thousands and thousands of articles, it may have a safeguard measure only on 3 articles, and for each 3 articles safeguard measure will be different. It will not be the same. For each 3 articles, safeguard measure will be totally different. Now first they have defined what is domestic industry here. What is meant by domestic industry? See, in a simple language they have said that domestic industry means supposing article X is imported, domestic industry means the industry which is having a like product, similar to article X or a directly competitive article, right? Either the whole of such industry or majority of such industry. So domestic industry means produces as a whole. The focus is on whole of that like article or directly competitive article in India. So if article X is imported, domestic industry means producers of that like article, that article X, or a directly competitive article. It may be X1, it may be X1, some changes there, or whose collective output of the like article or a directly competitive article in India constitute major share. See, what are they trying to focus on? Focus on the word whole or major share of the total production of the said article. See, they are telling that whenever you talk about domestic industry, it should be not a single person, you are not talking about a single person who is being affected by that import. It should not be a single company. So when you talk about serious injury or threatening to cause serious injury is happening only to one company of that particular like article, then you cannot tell that the entire industry is affected. If only one company is affected by such imports, it cannot be said that it is industry is affected. So they are very clear that by such increased quantity of import of a particular article, it is causing or threatening to cause serious injury to the entire industry, not one company or 2 companies. It should be entire industry. So either it should be entire industry, whole of the producers, all the producers, of that like article or directly competitive article in India, or at least majority of the producers. How they define majority of the producers? You see the language, the output, collective output of that like article or directly competitive article in India is constituting a major share of total production, producers. So it may be, supposing an industry is containing 100 companies, either it should be all the 100 companies should be affected, or those companies, even if say 10 companies are affected, the total output out of those 10 companies should constitute a major share out of total production in India. So if at all there are 100 producers that are producing the like article or a directly competitive article in India. Supposing article X is imported, if article X is being imported in India, now very exactly same article X or a directly competitive article, you have to take all the producers. Supposing there are 100 producers, what are they trying to tell? Either all the 100 producers should be affected, or such producers should be affected which constitutes major share of output, major share of output. So you are not going to count the number of producers, major share of output in India, whatever is produced in India, major share. Such producers can be either say 10 producers, or it can be say 15 producers, or it can be say 25 producers. You are not telling that at least 50 producers should be affected. It is wrong to tell that at least 50 producers should be affected. No. Such producers whose output is constituting the major share of production, So here they are very clear. Either the entire industry, all the 100 producers are affected, or such producers, say few producers are affected, but their output is major share of the total output. So if the total output is say, all the 100 producers together, if they are having output of say 10 lakh units, rather let us say 100 crores units. If the total output is say 100 crore units, now you don't take 50 producers, any 50 producers, you don't take small producers, you take such producers which has got major share of output. Major share of output means you are talking about at least more than equal to 50 crores units, So you take such producers where they are at least having 50 crores units. So rather than telling that 50% of the producers, it is wrong. Such producers who are having major share in the industry, that such producers can be, friends, out of 100 they can totally be 10 producers, but they are having major share. It is highly possible. 50% of the output production is by 10 producers, balance 50% is by 90%. So it is highly possible. Or say 15 producers, or such 25 producers, etc. So that is meant by a domestic industry. And friends, what is meant by serious injury? Serious injury means any injury which is causing significant overall impact. That should be significant impairment or loss. Right, significant overall impairment. First of all, there should be overall impairment, and it should be significant, it should be material. Right, that is a direct loss, huge loss. A significant overall impairment in the position of the domestic industry. Say domestic industry was highly profitable in the past, now suddenly you are seeing huge losses, they have huge stock. You can easily find out from the financial records that there is a significant overall impairment in the domestic industry. That is actual. Serious injuries has already happened. It may be a scenario where serious injuries not yet happened, but it is very clear that it will happen soon. So you are talking about giving protection before damage is happening. Either injury has already happened, or there is threat of serious injury. So they have also defined what is meant by threat of serious injury. It means that clear and imminent. Imminent means certain, very certain, clear and certain danger of serious injury. So as of now, injury has not yet happened, but it is very clear and very certain that if safeguard measure is not taken, there will be serious injury. So clear and imminent danger of serious injury. So these are the terms, obviously not so important for exams, but we have to understand the terms. What is meant by domestic industry, what is meant by this serious injury that they are telling, what is meant by threaten of serious injury. Now friends, how this safeguard levy will be there. Now if you see this particular safeguard levy, right, safeguard measure, levy of safeguard measure, because now safeguard duty is one of the safeguard measure, not the only safeguard measure. So what are the safeguard measures that central government can take? Safeguard measures shall include imposition of safeguard duty, first part, or application of tariff rate quota, second part, or any other measure. So there can be three possible ways, through which government can have safeguard measure, and two are very direct. For these two we are going to see example. Safeguard duty can be there, tariff rate quota can be there, any other measure. So central government can think even of the new measure which can be there in near future. Now for what purposes? For curbing the increased quantity of imports so as to prevent serious injury to the domestic industry. And friends, when this safeguard measure is imposed, whenever the safeguard measure is imposed, government can take precaution to exempt such quantity of article from safeguard measure, which means safeguard measure will be beyond a particular import. So they will tell that okay, if so much quantity of goods are imported, we will not have safeguard measure. Beyond this quantity, we will have safeguard measure, and that is very near to your tariff rate quota. They will tell that we don't want safeguard measure up to a particular quantity. Up to 1 lakh units, we will not have safeguard measure. Beyond 1 lakh units, only when the quantity is more than 1 lakh units, we will be having safeguard measure. So central government by notification may exempt such quantity of article when they are imported from any country or territory of India from the payment of whole or part of safeguard duty. This is to ensure that safeguard measure is only on that increased quantity, not on the normal quantity of import. So this point very clearly tells that if the import is in normal quantity, up to normal quantity, don't have safeguard duty or have less safeguard duty. Beyond that normal quantity, when I tell beyond that normal quantity, you are talking about increased quantities. Beyond that normal quantity, have normal safeguard measure. Up to that normal quantity, either don't have safeguard measure or have lesser safeguard measure, because safeguard measure can be wholly exempt or partly exempt. So that is this particular point, and it's very logical point. Why? Safeguard measure itself is there for the increased quantity. So up to for that normal quantity, either don't have safeguard measure or have a lesser safeguard measure, which means that either whole safeguard measure can be exempted or part can be exempted. But beyond that quantity, please have entire safeguard measure. Now that is exactly nothing but tariff rate quota, right? So safeguard measure, a very important point. Safeguard measure can be by way of directly safeguard duty. Very simple concept, very simple concept. For the entire import, directly safeguard duty for all the imports, right? So starting from first unit, it is directly safeguard duty or tariff rate quota or any other measure. Now friends, what is this tariff rate quota? Tariff rate quota is very logical. The point that we were discussing just now is covered here. Tariff rate quota, if you see the language, what are they trying to tell? They are telling that it allows a lower tariff rate for imports within a specified quantity, which means normal quantity, and higher tariff rate exceeding that quantity, which means beyond normal quantity, increased quantity. For example, India may allow importation of 10,000 laptops at tariff rate of 10%. So up to 10,000 laptops have 10%. Tariff rate goes have just 10%. Beyond that particular laptop have 30, beyond that particular quantity of 10,000 have tariff rate of 30%. So they may set a particular normal quantity. So for laptops, they may set that okay, up to 10,000 laptops, you have only 10% duty, and beyond that you have your 30% duty. And friends, when this tariff rate quota is there, one more important thing is that central government, how to find out what is that normal quantity? The next question comes is, how to find out what is this normal quantity? Because central government, while having safeguard measure, it can tell that up to that normal quantity, either no safeguard measure or lesser safeguard measure. Beyond that normal quantity, you will have normal safeguard measure, which is nothing but your tariff rate quota. Now there should be a process or a method of finding normal quantity, because till normal quantity, either there will be no safeguard duty or lesser safeguard duty, no safeguard measure or lesser safeguard measure, and beyond that there will be normal safeguard measure. Now how to find it out? Now even that is given. When you are talking about tariff rate quota, the moment you are talking about your tariff rate quota used as a safeguard measure, central government shall not fix a quota lower than that quota. Which should be the basis? It should not be lower than the average level of imports in the last 3 representative years. So see the last 3 representative years, last 3 years basically, and see what was the average import of that article. Now that average import of that article, last 3 representative years, why they have used last 3 representative years? Because it could be a scenario where huge imports are there in the last 2 years. So last 2 years cannot be representative. Before that 3 years can be representative. So rather than using last 3 years, they have used last 3 representative years. A very logical point. Why? Huge imports are there in last 2 years, financial year 2021, 21, 22. Right, last 2 years huge imports are there. Now these 2 years cannot be representative. Before that, when you are talking about 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, these can be representative years. So take the last 3 representative years, take the average of imports of last 3 representative years, and fix the tariff rate quota. The tariff rate quota cannot be lower than this. The tariff rate quota, the normal quantity cannot be lower than this. The normal quantity of the tariff rate quota bifurcation cannot be lower than this, right? And friends, only in exceptional cases, unless a different level is deemed necessary to prevent such injury, which means that at times central government can fix a tariff rate quota or normal quantity lesser than the average level of imports of last 3 representative years. Normally your tariff rate quota, your normal quantity should not be lesser than your average level of imports of last 3 representative years. Can it be lesser in certain special cases? Yes, it can be lesser in certain special cases where a lesser quantity is necessary to prevent such serious injury. So normally it should not be. In special cases it can be. Now when the tariff rate quota is set, central government can allocate this tariff rate quota. Supposing this tariff rate quota is coming as normal quantity is coming as say 10,000 units, and maximum import is from say USA. So out of that 10,000 units, it can tell that 8,000 units they are giving it to USA. Balance 2,000 units is for import from all the other countries. So it can allocate that tariff rate quota to supplying countries where substantial interest is there. Right? It can give that tariff out of the tariff rate quota. It can tell that say it has set an outer deadline 10,000 units. Out of that 10,000 units, which is normal quantity of imports, 8,000 can be allocated for imports from USA. 1,000 can be allocated for imports from say Russia. Balance 1,000 can be allocated for import from other countries. So that way allocation can be done. Now for this, for surely we have to see an example, only then it will make sense. Now let us understand this particular tariff rate quota. Tariff rate quota for article PQR. First, you have to take average of last 3 representative years. The first step is you have to take average of last 3 representative years. Now assume that the last 3 representative years are 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21. Directly last 3 years. It may not be always. I have already given an example where you are standing in financial year 22-23, but your financial year 2021, 21, 22 cannot be representative years. So it can be even representative years. It is not necessary always last 3 years. It should be representative, because if in the last 2 years itself imports was too high, you cannot call them as representative years. So here we have taken a very basic example for financial year 21, 22. The last 3 representative years are taken as 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21. So there was no increased imports in any of these last 3 representative years, and the quantity difference is shown as 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, and the average, if you take the average 10,000 plus 15,000 plus 20,000 divided by 3, you will get 15,000. Now friends, what is central government going to do? Central government will tell that up to 15,000 have tariff rate 0, safeguard measure 0. Beyond 15,000 units, again we are talking about financial year 21-22. This entire calculation is for financial year 21-22. Why? For financial year 21-22, you wanted to find tariff rate quota. Therefore, you took the average of last year representative years, you got 15,000 units. So, when you talk about entering that financial year 21-22, it should be very clearly said that if this item article PQR is imported up to 15,000 units, we'll have tariff rate as nil. And if the same item PQR is imported beyond 15,000 units in financial year 21-22, we'll have the tariff rate as 10%. This is first possibility. Second possibility, they can tell otherwise. They will not tell that entirely up to normal quantity there is no safeguard duty. Friends, we have discussed that up to normal quantity either there cannot be safeguard measure or there will be a lesser safeguard measure. There will be a lesser safeguard measure. Either there will be no safeguard measure or there will be lesser safeguard measure. Now, they can tell that up to 15,000 units we will have tariff rate as 2.5%. Beyond 50,000 units we will have tariff rate as 10%. So, what am I trying to tell? Up to that normal quantity, we are using a very layman's language, up to that normal quantity of import, either don't have any safeguard measure, tariff rate is 0, or have safeguard measure which is lesser, have a safeguard measure which is lesser. So, what is the lesser here? Let us say 2.5%. Now, beyond that 15,000 units have tariff rate as normal 10% or 10, whatever you decided, same 10% will be there. So, beyond that particular limit, beyond that particular normal quantity limit, have normal safeguard measure, which is 10%. And another important point, friends, you have to understand is this 15,000 units which is found in terms of your tariff rate quota, which we are calling it as normal quantity, isn't it? This 15,000 up to 15,000 it is normal quantity. What you can do is you can allocate, you can tell that out of this 15,000 units, we can allocate it to the supplying countries where they have substantial interest, where they have been exporting for a long time to India. They have been exporting means India have been importing, right, substantial. So, we can allocate it. How? You can, out of this 15,000 units, we can tell that 10,000 units is for USA. Say 2,000 units of imports is for Russia. This will be actually as per rules. 1,000 units is for, say, Germany, and so on so forth. A balance, say 1,000 units. These are the three countries where majorly they have been exporting these items, the item PQR to India, and India has been importing that particular item PQR. So, balance 1,000, balance is 2,000, balanced 2,000 units for other countries. Now, what are we trying to tell? We are trying to tell that if from USA you get up to 10,000 units, you will have either no safeguard measure or lesser safeguard measure. More than 10,000 units, normal duty. Just like that, when you are talking about your Russia, from Russia up to 2,000 units, either there will be no safeguard measure or lesser safeguard measure. Beyond 2,000 units, normal safeguard measure. If the import is from Germany up to 1,000 units, either no safeguard measure or a lesser safeguard measure. Beyond 1,000 units, there will be normal safeguard measure. And when you are talking about other countries all together consolidated, up to 2,000 units, no safeguard measure or lesser safeguard measure. Beyond 2,000 units, have a higher safeguard measure. So, that will be actually in terms of this allocation to supplying countries will be in terms of, this is nothing but allocation. If you see this allocation, total normal quantity in terms of tariff rate quota. Normal, we are calling it as normal quantity as per our layman's language. So as per tariff rate quota, you get the normal quantity as 15,000 units. You can allocate it 10,000 to USA, 2,000 to Russia, 1,000 to Germany, 2,000 to all the other countries together. So if you total it, you will get 15,000. Then you can have a normal understanding. Okay, if the import in USA, if the import of that item from USA, if the import of that item from USA is up to 10,000, either there will be no safeguard measure or lesser safeguard measure. If it is beyond 10,000, normal safeguard measure. Just like that, if it is, you are talking about Russia, if the import quantity from Russia is up to 2,000, either there will be no safeguard measure, either there will be no safeguard measure or there will be lesser safeguard measure, the rate of duty will be lesser, and beyond 2,000 it will be normal safeguard measure. Again, just like that, if the import is from Germany up to 1,000, either there will be no safeguard measure or lesser safeguard measure, and beyond 1,000 units of item PQR from Germany, you'll have normal safeguard measure. Just like that, all the balance other countries up to 2,000 units import, either there will be no safeguard measure or lesser safeguard measure, and beyond 2,000 units of item PQR imported from other countries all put together, there will be normal safeguard measure. So that you have to understand, that is nothing but your allocation, right? So this you need to understand. Now you are talking about non-applicability of safeguard measures. In certain cases, you don't have safeguard measure being applicable, non-applicability of safeguard measures, right? So they are telling that basically when it is applicable, we have discussed. We are talking about when it is not applicable. If the articles is the same article, in our example, if article PQR, right, is the same article was imported from a developing country. Now what is meant by developing country? A country notified by central government on this behalf in official gazette. So that developing country will be notified by central government. If the articles are originating from developing country, as long as the total import share, you are importing, say India is importing say lakhs of 1 lakh units, and total share of import in India is 1 lakh units, and out of that say it is importing only 2,000 units from a particular country, from a developing country. So if that import share of import of that article from that country is not exceeding 3%, if it is up to 3% of the total imports in India, so import by India is 1 lakh units, out of which only say 2,000 units are imported from say a small country, only 2,000 units are imported, only 2,000 units are imported, say from Nepal, only 2,000 units are imported. So it is a developing country, it should be notified by central government in this behalf, a developing country, and the share is only 2% of total imports, only 2%, which is less than or equal to 3%, then you will not have safeguard duty. Or if the articles are coming from more than one developing country, right, if the articles are originating from more than one developing country, the originating point is not one country, the originating point is more than one developing country, and the aggregate of imports, the total of import share from each of these developing countries should be less than 3%. So if it is coming from more than one developing countries, first you have to understand that from each of these developing countries the import share is less than 3%, and together the import share of all these developing countries should not exceed 9%. So friends, they are telling that if you are talking about a single developing country, not a group of developing countries, then if the import share is up to less than or equal to 3%, up to y does not exceed means up to less than or equal to 3%, there is no safeguard measure. Or if the article is originating from more than one developing country, so a lot of other developing countries are also having their share, if it is coming from more than one developing country, in that scenario friends, what I am telling, each of the developing country share should be less than 3%. So first criteria is each of the developing country share should be less than 3%, and total of import share of all these developing countries put together should be less than or equal to 9%, then safeguard measure will not be there. And friends, they give a last exception if the article is imported by 100% export oriented unit or a special economic zone, then safeguard measure will not be there. There are two exceptions for it, unless it is specifically made applicable. So normally when EOU or SEZ imports the same, when EOU or special economic zone is importing a particular article, when 100% export oriented unit or special economic zone is importing say same particular article on which safeguard measure is that, normally they will not have any safeguard measure unless the notification itself tells that it is also applicable for EOU as well as SEZ. So normal scenario, safeguard measure will not be applicable for imports done by EOU or imports done by special economic zone unit. Now exception number 1 is the notification itself tells that it is equally applicable for import by EOU, equally applicable for import by SEZ, or if that imported article is cleared by SEZ or EOU in India, either as such or after manufacturing it. So they are telling that basically when EOU or SEZ imports an article, there will be no safeguard measure, right, unless otherwise provided, unless it is specifically mentioned. And if part of the article, if part of those items, either as such, either just like, I mean without manufacturing, trading, either as such if they have been sold in India or after manufacturing if they have been sold in India, then safeguard measure will be there on that portion of the article, not on the entire import, on that portion of the article which is cleared or which is cleared as such or after production when it was leviable. Now let us understand this. Let us understand this. Supposing import by special economic zone or EOU was of say 10,000 units. Rather we can tell that these items are imported say from USA. So import was of 10,000 units. What is that article? Let us name that article as well. This article is a item X. Now two scenarios, either item X is sold as such in India, or item X was converted to manufacturing, was converted to item Y, and that item Y was sold in India, right? So there is sale in domestic tariff area, either of item X as such if EOU or SEZ have not done manufacturing on that item, or after manufacturing. So sale in domestic tariff area after manufacturing will be that of Y. So when this sale happens, say it is happening of sale is happening of say only 2,000 units. Sale is happening of only 2,000 units, and assume that input output ratio is 1:1. Assume that input output ratio for manufacturing is 1:1. They are telling that safeguard measure will be there only on these 2,000 units, right? So for basically they are telling that initially when import is done of item X, safeguard measure will not be there. So how much import was there, friends? It was 10,000 units and there is no safeguard measure. Later on, if that item X is sold as such, this is the category where you are talking about sale as such, and this is the category where you are talking about sale after production or manufacture, sale after production or manufacture of a separate item. Now in that scenario, whatever quantity is sold in India as such or after production manufacture, only on that portion you will have safeguard measure, right? So, and that to import, when you are talking about after production, it should be only on, understand that the safeguard measure is only on item X, it is not on item Y. So if at all it is production, you have to see input output ratio also. You have to see input output ratio. Let us take an example. Input output ratio is 2:1, and item Y sold as 2,000 units. This is item Y which is sold as 2,000 units. The safeguard measure will not be there on this 2,000 units. It will be there on 4,000 units of item X, because if item Y sold is 2000 units, how much of item X would have been used if input output ratio is 2:1? It is 4000 units. 2 units of X is required to produce or manufacture 1 unit of Y. So how much you have sold Y is 2000 units, but safeguard measure is not on safeguard measure. Friends, you have to understand that safeguard measure is only on item X, that item that has been imported. That being the case, safeguard measure cannot be on 2000 units. Why? It is output Y, sale is of output Y. How much of X was used in manufacturing 2000 units of Y? It is 4000 units. So you have to have safeguard duty on 4000 units of X. So that is normal input output ratio when it is all about production manufacture. Now what can be the maximum safeguard measure? Maximum safeguard measure. Friends, understand that this will not be, never be used for your practical question, because this is the maximum safeguard measure that you will have. Maximum. Your safeguard measure cannot be beyond this particular amount. Normally safeguard measure will be in terms of percentage. So this will never come. So you have to understand that normally when you talk about your safeguard measure, it will be in percentage. But this is the maximum safeguard measure. After percentage, you will get an amount. So maximum safeguard measure, even if it is when you are talking about safeguard measure in percentage, you will get an amount. That should not be more than the safeguard measure that we are discussing here. So what is the maximum safeguard measure which can be that? It is nothing but maximum safeguard measure is the injury margin. And friends, what is the meant by injury margin? Injury margin is nothing but injury margin means injury to the domestic industry. Fair selling price by the domestic industry. Fair selling price is nothing but the non-injurious price. It is selling price of a product for a domestic industry. Fair selling price is nothing but selling price of a product for domestic industry under normal circumstances. When that same item is sold in domestic industry, that is a fair selling price. When the item that is imported, when it is sold in the domestic industry under normal circumstances, that is fair selling price. Minus you are talking about landed value. What is landed value? Landed cost of imported goods. Friends, landed cost of imported goods, you may forget this, is always your CIF value. It is always your CIF value plus basic customs duty including protective duty plus social welfare surcharge. Rather than seeing this complicated language where it tells that all customs duties other than CVD or special CVD or IGST or compensation cess or special import duties, in simple language, landed cost of imported goods, you can make it more simple. It is nothing but assessable value, that is CIF plus BCD as well as protective duty plus social welfare surcharge. So that is the landed cost of importation. Friends, what are they trying to tell? This is the maximum injury. Why it is a maximum injury? The imported goods cost is only this CIF plus BCD or protected duty plus social welfare. This is the imported goods. This is the imported goods cost. And what can be the what is the fair selling price? What is the fair selling price? Price which the domestic producers may reasonably expect on their sales to realize. So when the domestic industry is selling their goods, they have the maximum price, normal selling price of the domestic industry. Now that difference will give you the injury. Now let us understand with the help of numbers. Supposing you are talking about imported article item X and domestic industry manufacturing and selling that article. So one is your imported item, imported X, and domestic industry the same item, item X, like article or directly competitive article is item X. Now when you talk about the imported article, you take the cost, landed cost. So landed cost is always CIF plus BCD plus protected duty plus social welfare surcharge. Landed cost. The focus is on cost. Assume that landed cost is coming to say 1 lakh rupees, and for domestic industry product you take the selling price. What is the domestic industry fair selling price? Let us say that the fair selling price is say you are talking about 1,30,000. Now friends, this difference, fair domestic industry can maximum is selling for 1,30,000, but the cost of the imported goods is very less, say 1 lakh. Now this difference they will have in terms of safeguard measure. This is the maximum safeguard measure. This is the maximum safeguard measure. And friends, understand it this way: if the maximum safeguard measure is say 30,000, that is fair selling price minus landed value of landed cost of importation, landed cost of importation. If you do this, friends, you have to understand that post this safeguard measure, the cost of the imported article will be 1,30,000, which means you are discouraging imported article. When the cost of the imported article itself is 1,30,000, the selling price of the imported article should be more than 1,30,000. Domestic industry is not having any fear. Why? When the cost of the imported article itself is 1,30,000, it means that selling price of imported article will be surely more than 1,30,000, because they will have some profit margin. When selling price of imported article, now see this selling price of imported article, when you have a selling price of imported article which is 1,30,000 and you have domestic industry selling this like article or directly competitive article say for 1,30,000, they don't have a fear. Assume that the person who is selling that imported article wants a profit margin of 10,000. Assume, say it is 1,40,000. He wants to have a margin. So when the imported article in India sold for 1,40,000 and the same article, like article or directly competitive article is sold by domestic industries for 1,30,000, domestic industry will win over the imported article. That is the entire objective. Right. So maximum safeguard measure is the injury margin. And what is the injury to the domestic industry? It is the fair selling price, that is selling price which the domestic producers may reasonably expect to realize on the sales in domestic market under normal circumstances. So fair selling price is the fair selling price of the domestic industry minus landed value is nothing but landed cost of imported goods, which is nothing but BCD plus, which is nothing but assessable value plus BCD plus protected duty plus social welfare surcharge. Now friends, the next point, when you talk about fair selling price, it has been held by the Supreme Court that you can have only one fair selling price. Fair selling price is otherwise called as non-injurious price. Fair selling price is otherwise called as non-injurious price. That is, fair selling price is that of the domestic industry, of the domestically produced goods. So there will be only one fair selling price, not multiple. You have to only fix one fair selling price. Friends, I again tell that this calculation is not given by ICA material, but this will be the maximum safeguard measure that one can have. Normally safeguard measure is in terms of percentage, say 3% or 5%. We have discussed the example, it is in terms of percentage. But when you talk about that particular percentage, you will get a final amount when you calculate the value multiplied by percentage. That safeguard measure, when you in terms of value, should not be more than the injury margin that we have discussed. So this is only for your understanding. Next point is important point, which you have important for even for your exams. Safeguard measure can be maximum for a period of 4 years from the date of its imposition, and where government feels it necessary, they can increase it, they can extend the imposition, but the total period of levy including the extension shall not be more than 10 years. So 4 years plus extension can be there, but in total 4 years plus extension, that extension cannot be more than 6 years. That is the implication. 4 years plus extension, the total time cannot be more than 10 years. So initially it is levied for 4 years, maximum time of 4 years, and can it be extended? Yes. Even after extension, the total time, the total period of levy, which means 4 years plus extension, totally should be up to 10 years. Now friends, when this extension is normally given, this exemption is normally given where central government is sure that domestic industry has taken some measure to adjust the injury. So even the domestic industry should work forward. They have taken some sort of measure so that they are able to compete with the huge import quantity of goods. So domestic industry should have worked, otherwise the central government will make domestic industry lazy. So domestic industry has taken measure to adjust that injury, and even continuation of safeguard measure is necessary, otherwise it will further impact the domestic industry's serious injury. So two-way check central government should do for extension. One, when it is doing extension, central government should ensure that domestic industry has taken some steps to come over that injury. If the domestic industry has not taken any steps, it is not thinking forward, then central government should not help, right? Because helping it may rather will demotivate the domestic industry. It will be more and more lazy. It will always think that central government will help us always. So first, central government should check that domestic industry has taken some measures to adjust the injury. Second, central government feels that it is necessary to continue or to extend the safeguard measure in order to safeguard the interest of the domestic industry. So it is necessary also. Now, if you remember the earlier process of levy, we have clearly discussed the process. Domestic industry will make a written application to Director General Safeguard, and Director General Safeguard will do some investigation. Only after that, central government will impose a safeguard measure. So it will take some time for investigation. During that time of investigation, can they have provisional levy? Yes. Central government can impose provisional safeguard measure. When that provisional safeguard measure will be there? During the time when the Director General Safeguard is doing investigation. So this provisional levy is only during the time of investigation done by DG Safeguard, right? The provisional safeguard measure can be imposed upon preliminary determination that increased imports are actually causing or threatening to cause a rough preliminary, not investigation, preliminary, at least on the outlook it is very clear that there is increased quantity of import and there is it is causing or threatening to cause serious injury to the domestic industry. So even provisional levy should be on some basis, though investigation is pending, but on the outset it is very clear that there is because of the increased imports there is some injury or threatening to cause serious injury to the domestic industry. So that preliminary determination should always be there. Just like that provisional levy cannot be there. Even when there is a provisional levy, some sort of paperwork should be there to establish that the increased quantity of import is causing or threatening to cause serious injury to the domestic industry. And after investigation, it will be very clear. Next, this provisional levy can be maximum for a period of 200 days. It cannot be more than that. Which means the Director General Safeguard is expected to complete the investigation within 30 days. Within 200 days. Is expected to complete their investigation within 200 days. They may take more time. It is an indirect time limit. So DG Safeguard is expected to complete their entire investigation within 200 days because provisional levy cannot be extended beyond it. Though there is a rough understanding that based on preliminary determination that because of increased quantity of import there is a serious injury or threatening to cause serious injury, but it is not finally concluded. That conclusion, that investigation should be completed by DG Safeguard within that 200 days. So maximum time limit for which provisional levy of safeguard measure which can be there is 200 days. So am I trying to tell DG Safeguard has got only 200 days? No. But indirect time limit for DG Safeguard is 200 days. And upon final determination, if at all investigation is done by DG Safeguard, if they feel that safeguard measure is necessary, then nothing will happen. But if they feel that safeguard measure is not required, why? Because there is increased quantity of import has not caused or not threatening to cause serious injury to the domestic industry, then provisionally they have collected something, that amount will be refunded. If preliminary determination finds that a safeguard measure is necessary and safeguard measures are collected and final determination, final investigation concludes that it is not necessary, whatever safeguard measure that you have collected has to be refunded back. Why? The final conclusion or the final investigation result is telling that there is no need of safeguard measure, refund it back. But if the final investigation tells that safeguard measure should be there, then that provisional levy which is collected will not be refunded. Refund will only come when preliminary determination said that safeguard measure is necessary, but final determination or final investigation tells that safeguard measure is not necessary. Between that time which is provisional levy, whatever they have collected was wrong collection, because final conclusion is there is no need of safeguard measure, refund that particular amount. And friends, there is a note that the provision of Customs Act, all the provisions of your Customs Act whether in relation to your determination of duty or assessment or non-levy or short levy or refund, interest, etc., 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 are equally applicable for your safeguard measure. A very normal point, which in basic simple language means that all the provisions of your customs are equally applicable for your safeguard measure. Now friends, let us see the first three examples, which is based on that non-applicability. So first three examples focuses on non-applicability of safeguard measure. You have to remember that percentage, developing country and that percentage. Now let us see this particular example. Now first example, safeguard measure on article X. Now percentage of total imports from a particular country, country A, percentage of total imports, country A 70%, country B, which is not a developing country, to 25.5%, country C, other country, not a developing country, 2.5%, country D, not a developing country, other than developing country, it is 2%, country A was a developing country, 70%, right. Now what is the percentage of total imports that we have discussed? Out of the total, if you total it, you will always get 100%. If you total that 70 plus 25.5 plus 2.5 plus 2%, you will get the total as 100%. Now whether safeguard measure will be there, friends, understand that the relaxation was only for developing country. So directly when it is other country, safeguard measure will be there. For country B imports, it will be there. For import from country C, it will be there. For import from country D, it will be there. Why? It is not a developing country. For developing country, friends, you have to see whether the share of import is up to 3%. Here it is not up to 3%, it is huge. So safeguard measure will be there even for import from country A, though it is developing country, because the share of import is more than 3%. Right? When it is not there, if it is a developing country plus if the share of import is up to 3%, less than or equal to 3%. Now let us take the next example. Article Y is imported. Now it is article Y, another article Y is imported, and you are talking about percentage of total imports from all these countries and whether safeguard measure will be required or not. Now country A is other country. The moment I tell other country, don't see the percentage, safeguard measure will be there. Country, though the percentage we are taking 70%, but percentage is not at all relevant. Country B, other country. The moment it is other country, I am not seeing the percentage, safeguard measure is there. The percentage was 25.5%. Now country C is a developing country. Yes, now it is a developing country, and the percentage of import is up to 3%. It is up to 3%, less than or equal to 3%. Import of article Y from country C will not have safeguard measure. Import of article Y from country C will not have safeguard measure. Next, friends, it is country D, again developing country. Wait, again check. Developing country and the percentage of import is up to 3%. Again, in this scenario, again safeguard measure will not be there. That is import of article Y, because SGM is article based. It is on a particular article, product based. Import of article Y from country D, there will be no safeguard measure. Why? Country D is a developing country, plus the import share is less than or equal to 3%. Now let us take the next example. Next example, we are talking about applicability of safeguard measure on import of article Z. Article Z. Now this example contains both these tables, both the tables, article Z. On the left hand side, I have given all these imports are from other country. All these imports are happening from other country. Percentage of total imports and safeguard measures, all these imports. Country A, other country, country B, other country, country C, other country, country D, other country, country E, other country. So understand that safeguard measure will be there for imports from all these countries, irrespective of the percentage. Irrespective of the percentage, whether the percentage is 40 or 4 or 2 or 2.5 or 2. And now friends, if you total it, you will not get total 100%, because the question is not yet over. The question is not yet over. So if you total it, 40 plus 4, 44, 46, 48, 50.5%. So total here is It's not 100%. Normally you will get 100%, but here it is not 100% because the question is continuing. Because the question is continuing. Now the same article, article Z, if it is imported from country F, developing country, country G, developing country, country H, developing country. Now understand that whenever it is a developing country, you have to see the percentage. Country F, developing country, 35%. 35% means you will have safeguard measure. Country G, developing country, 5%. 5% is more than 3%. You will have safeguard measure. Now other developing countries, country H, I, J, K, all these other developing countries. All these other developing countries have their import share less than 3%. Each of them 2.5 to 2.52. So when you talk about when the import is happening from more than one developing country, if it is a single developing country, fine. If it is happening from more than one developing nation, if it is happening from more than one developing nation, two things we should check. First, each of their share should be up to, each of their share should be less than 3%. If their share was more than 3%, safeguard measure was applicable. So you had country F and G where they were developing country, but their independent share was more than 3%, safeguard measure is applicable. Balanced developing nation. For all the balanced developing nation where each of their share was, this is the first step, each of their share was less than 3%. If it was more than 3%, it was applicable. So take the balanced developing nation where each of their share is less than 3% and total it. If you total it, you will get the total share. You will get the total share. You will get the total share as 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, 8%, 9.5%. So total share of all these developing countries where each of their share is less than or equal to 3%. Now the total share should be up to 9%, which is not the scenario. So safeguard measure will be there. Friends, in this example we are talking about two types of developing nations. Developing nation F and G where each of their share was more than 3%, safeguard measure was applicable. For the balanced developing nation, where each of their independent share was up to, was less than 3%. So we are talking about country H, country I, country J, country K, where each of the developing nation was up to 3%. Take it together. When I take it together, I have to do a check whether the total share of such countries is up to 9%. No, then safeguard measure is that. If the total share, if I tell that the total share of all these countries, country H, I, J, K put together, where these developing nations have independent share less than 3% and total share is less than 9%, then safeguard measure was not applicable. But these developing nations where the independent share is less than 3% and total of all these company shares is less than or equal to 9%, only then safeguard measure is not applicable. Otherwise safeguard measure is applicable. Rather, even in question number 2, these two criteria were satisfied. I should have written the answer as single answer. Why? Now see country C, country D. When you talk about country C and country D in example number 2, each of their share, step number 1 is each of their share is up to 3% and the total share of all these developing nations where each of their share is up to 3% was 4.5%, which means for both these countries safeguard measure is not there. So I have to apply this even for example 2. Why? Wherever you have more than one developing nations, you have to check two criteria. If it is more than 3% for that developing country, it is applicable, forget about that. If it is less than 3%, then add all such developing countries share which is having less than 3% ratio and see that the total share does not crosses 9%. If it crosses 9% for all those developing nations together, you will have safeguard measure. Right. So that is the way you have to understand. Now friends, one last example for your safeguard duty, which is in terms of percentage. We have taken the example of tariff rate quota, which is a very important concept, recent concept. Now let us see this last example. Determine the customs duty payable including safeguard duty at 30%. So normally they give that percentage in terms of section 8b. So they have given the safeguard duty. They have not gone by tariff rate quota, they have gone by safeguard duty. See, your safeguard measure either can be by way of tariff rate quota, which you have discussed in the earlier examples, or by way of safeguard duty, which you are going to discuss here, or any other measure, right? Safeguard duty we are going to discuss. Now, assessable value, what they have given us, assessable value is given as of sodium nitrate imported from a developing country, is 30 lakhs. Now, share of imports of that particular item, sodium nitrate, from the developing nation is 4%, which means safeguard measure will be applicable. Why? It is a developing nation, but share of import is more than 3%, so safeguard measure will be there. Next, basic customs duty, they have given 10%, integrated tax 12%, social welfare surcharge 10%. Ignore GST compensation cess, so there is no GST compensation cess. Now, basic customs duty. We talk about basic customs duty, friends, it will be on assessable value 30 lakhs multiplied by the rate of duty 10%, which will be 3 lakhs. Right, friends, understand that your special import duties, including safeguard duty, will come after social welfare surcharge but before IGST. So, social, next is, the sequence is very important, otherwise you will get it wrong. As a sequence is, first basic customs duty, including protective duty, then social welfare surcharge, then you have special import duties, finally you have IGST and compensation cess. I will repeat. First it is basic customs duty and protective duty together, then it is social welfare surcharge, both on BCD as well as protective duty, then you have special import duties which have a separate calculation, finally you have IGST and compensation cess. Now, social welfare surcharge is on 3 lakhs. Social welfare surcharge is only on basic customs duty as well as protective duty, and the rate of duty is 10%, so 30,000. And when you talk about safeguard duty, it is a separate calculation. Safeguard duty is a separate calculation for which assessable value will be same 30 lakhs. No adding of BCD and social welfare. Same 30 lakhs. Assessable value same 30 lakhs multiplied by what is the percentage that they have given? 3%, which will be 30%, which is 9 lakhs. Next, friends, you are talking about integrated tax. Now, friends, when you are talking about IGST will be on basic value 30 lakhs plus, this is basic value, assessable value 30 lakhs plus BCD, which is 3 lakhs plus social welfare surcharge, which is 30,000 plus safeguard duty, which is 9 lakhs. So, the value for IGST will be assessable value plus all the duties, plus all the customs duties other than IGST and compensation cess. All the customs duties will even include so safeguard duty. So, assessable value even include safeguard duty for the purpose of IGST. So, here assessable value becomes 42 lakhs 30,000. 42 lakhs 30,000. So, assessable value is 42 lakhs 30,000 multiplied by 12%. So, you have to take the rate as 12%. 42 lakh 30,000 multiplied by 12%. You will have IGST of 5 lakh 7,600. If you total all these things, you will get the total customs duties. Friends, everything remains the same. All you have to understand is the sequence. First is basic customs duty, including protective duty. Second, it is social welfare surcharge. Third, it is special import duties, which will include your safeguard duty as well as anti-subsidizing duty and anti-dumping duty, if any. And finally, it is IGST and compensation cess. And friends, when you talk about special import duties, including safeguard duty, it will have a separate calculation. And when you are talking about IGST, here IGST is very important. When you are talking about your IGST will be on what? IGST will be on assessable value plus basic customs duty plus social welfare surcharge plus special import duties. In this case, special import duty was safeguard duty. If it is anti-dumping duty, even anti-dumping duty will be added to the value. Plus this value for IGST will be accessorial value plus BCD plus social welfare surcharge plus special import duty, which includes safeguard duty as well as anti-subsidizing duty as well as anti-dumping duty. So that you will get it as value, then take the rate and find out the IGST. So here this important thing was, two important things in this question was there. First, finding out the applicability of safeguard measure. How? It was import from a developing country, but the share of imports from that developing country against total imports in India is more than 3%. So safeguard measure is there. Second important point was about calculation of IGST and the sequence as well as basic customs duty, then social welfare surcharge, then special import duty, that is safeguard duty, finally IGST. And here for accessorial value of IGST, how to calculate? Accessorial value for IGST will always be equal to the accessorial value for BCD plus social welfare surcharge plus special import duties including safeguard duty. So that was an important point here. Friends, that is all and all about your safeguard measure in terms of section 8B of your Customs Tariff Act 1975.